Welcome back to Alt Majority. I trust that everybody is having a beautiful week, a beautiful day. I am Shay.
And I'm Shannon. Thanks for stopping in today. On our channel, we talk about the law of attraction, we talk about spiritual awakening, we talk about basically a lot of things to make your life better, to make you live more joyful, to be able to just be your best self. So, we both are light workers, we both consider ourselves healers. And we're grateful to spend this time with you. So thanks so much. You can find us also on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Spotify. Of course, you can find us on YouTube. So, again, thanks so much for being with us today.
Yes, and you can also find us on Instagram. We'd love to connect
Yeah.
with you. So you can follow us at Awaken with Alt Majority.
All right. So today we have a really cool show for you. So we've been talking about a bunch of different stuff on our channel, from chakras to different ways to heal yourself, to shadow work, to witchcraft. So today we thought what we would do is combine a little bit and talk about both manifestation and law of attraction, and how to use an ancient technique um, to go about manifesting our biggest desires.
Mm-hmm.
So this ancient technique, we go all the way back to the 16th century, pretty much to hear about this. What I'm talking about, of course, is sigils. And sigils, what sigils are, is a symbol one creates to basically represent something that they're wanting. And this symbol itself isn't magical. Rather, it's the intention you put into the symbol that actually creates the magic here. So today we're going to talk about how to create sigils, how you can use them to get what you want. And I'm really excited about this one, Shay.
Yes, me too. So I haven't actually personally worked with sigils at all. So I'm just excited to be here in live time doing that. I have some supplies in front of me. So I invite you, listener, if you are able to, whether you're sitting at your desk at work, you can do this with any type of material, right? I'm sure you'll go into that a little bit. But here's your invitation to kind of join us on this step by step journey as we create this together.
Yeah, definitely. There's all sorts of ways you can go about doing this. So I'm just going to talk about a few common ways to use sigils in your manifesting work. Now, as with every single bit of manifestation, as with every single time, every way you go about doing this, the most important part about manifesting, of course, is your belief.
Hmm.
It is your belief. If you don't believe something like this will work to help you out, to help you manifest, then of course it's not going to.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that putting intent into something and going through ritual and ceremony is a thing that will bring you closer to what you're desiring, then it's not going to. But if you do, then it can. And
Yeah.
that's really the beauty of this. I mean, please see our episode on witchcraft being the law of attraction, being the same thing as law of attraction, basically based on the same principles. And so are sigils. And essentially, like I said, a sigil is a symbol that we're going to basically put some intent into, and we're going to use it to symbolize something we want. And then we're going to follow the steps through. So you're going to create a sigil right here today as we go through it. So I made a little bit of a slideshow. And of course, I'm going to describe all of this. If you're listening and you're not watching, please check out our slideshow on Instagram. We're going to put it up there and you can see the steps there. But just feel free to listen along, and I will describe every step as we go here.
Yeah.
So like I said, when we're thinking about using sigils, we go all the way back to the 16th century. And this is some ancient, and I'm sure it existed before that, but
Right.
this is just an ancient sort of occult, mystical, magical way that people would go about trying to produce some type of result. So there's a lot of resonance in the universe for this. The universe recognizes this pattern. And as we've talked about before, magic, witchcraft, all that really is focused attention, um, using intent, using emotion to really produce a certain result that we're looking for.
It's almost like your power is what supercharges it. I love what you said earlier about, and the magic isn't real unless you believe it's real. So it all has to do with the power that's already inside of you. Do you want to use that to supercharge something, or do you want to disbelieve it? That is totally up to you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so let's start going through the steps. So the very first thing you need to make sure to do is become really clear about what your desire is. If you have too many things out there that you're throwing out to the universe, I want this and this and this, and maybe it'll look like this and it might look like this, the universe is going to try to deliver everything, because the universe doesn't hear yes or no. It doesn't hear yes, I want that, or no, I want that. We've talked about this before. It's what you're thinking about. It's gonna show up in your reality. So
Right. So
we
if
want to
your
be
mind,
really, really clear about our desires when we're going to work with sigils.
yes, if your mind is chaotic, then you're going to receive a chaotic result inevitably because the universe mirrors
No,
back exactly what you're putting out.
exactly. And that's not going to work for this method. So you have to be really clear about what you're trying to get. And this can be something small. Try this with something small first.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be, I want to, have world peace or something like that. In fact, that's going to be really too difficult to really manifest what that would exactly look like.
Right.
Because part of manifesting, of course, is being able to picture the outcome and what that would look and feel like. So
Mhm.
let's be clear about what we're going to try to get here. So there's a few different ways to do it, but let's talk first about word sigils. And basically it goes like this. For word sigils, you write out your desire into one concise sentence and try to be as concise as possible and try to just sort of get it to something that you can just easily articulate. Then you take that sentence and you take the first letter of each word, except for the vowels, and you create a new word. For example, if you go to the next slide, Shay, it talks about if I wanted to receive a check in the mail. This is what I'm trying to manifest. This is just a real simple example. I want to receive a check in the mail. Though the sentence receive a check in the mail will break down to the letters RCTM, receive check the mail. Okay. And I'm just going to put it into that real, just 4 or 5. Try not to have a ton of letters in here. Again, just sort of concisely break it down to those few words. Can you think of another example, Shay, of something? I know you're working on one as we go along here, but I actually want you to keep that to yourself, the one that you're working on. Don't tell us what it is, okay? Don't tell us, and I'll explain that later. But can you think of another real concise, maybe manifestation sentence that might work?
How about the perfect partner?
The perfect partner. Very good. So then maybe TPP. Okay. So
Yep.
you'll just have it, or just find the perfect partner, maybe FTTP, something like that.
Mhm.
You get the idea. Whatever it is, you just want to put that into the first letter minus the vowels. Okay. So
Yep.
that's the first part. Okay. All right. So then after you do that, you essentially create the sigil by combining the letters into one symbol. And I gave an example on the screen here, and it's extremely crude. Now you can be as detailed and as artistic as you want with this. If you're not looking at a screen right now, if you can't see what I'm talking about, essentially I put the R, the C, the T, and the M together kind of into one symbol all on top of each other, where the 4 letters are just sort of crunched together into one space. And I'm going to, as I'm writing that letter, as I'm writing that down, I really want to take my time and be real intentional about it. And I might even put it on some special paper. I might take a gold pen perhaps and write it. I might put it on, maybe I'll even be doing this on a leaf. I might be using a piece of bark or something like that too. Think about maybe the materials that you want to put it on. But you just want to take your time with it. And really, as you're creating your sigil, you'll really just be thinking about that thing. You'll be really picturing it. And I really want you to start to feel how great it would feel to have it. If you'll go to step 5, so you create that sigil. Now get creative here. Step 5 talks about draw whatever feels right. So imagine yourself having it as you're creating it. So on my screen, I just put some decorative things around it. I just color in a little, put some little decorative sort of like lines and shapes around it. Just whatever feels good, whatever makes you feel good, whatever starts to resonate with you. This is your sigil. So you can, of course, take a sigil off the internet and use it. You can buy a sigil that somebody else created. But the whole point of creating the sigil is to really personalize it to you. So it's way better if you create the sigil yourself. And you can see why, because it's going to be really personalized to you. So you put it down there, you make it as simple or as complex as you would like. You don't have to be an artist here. I mean, again, the whole point is to put your intent and your emotions into the symbol as you're creating it. So just take your time with it. Whatever materials you want to use, whatever feels right, go ahead and use that. And then just really, really feel into this as you're doing it. And picture yourself having that thing, or being with that partner, or being in that place, or getting that job, or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest with this sigil. You're really going to feel it as you're drawing it. How does that feel, Shay? I see you're working on yours over there. Again, don't show us yet. Don't show us. But how does that feel as you're creating it?
Yeah, I can feel the resonance just in my body, and it's just something, there's something so special about, we talk about witchcraft, and I think that a lot of people feel like, I don't know any spells, or like, where do I get the spells? And there's something so beautiful about just creating it yourself. You don't need somebody, any external source. And so I love this mostly for the creativity aspect of it, because I just love to doodle. This is like so my jam. So this is
Yeah.
just bringing me, I feel just like joy doing this. It feels really good. And as I am doing it, I'm doing the things that you're saying. I'm imagining what this exactly would look like. And I want to backtrack a little bit. This is something that's been on my mind. This isn't like I just picked this in 2 seconds and I already have an image, right? Pick something that it is that you've been trying
Yeah.
to manifest, something you've been thinking about. Take a second before you even begin this practice to just really sit with what wants to be written on this as this sigil.
Yeah. What wants to come out in this way? What wants to express itself? That was great, Shay. We really want to try this with something that we've been trying to manifest, we haven't been able to get to, because there's a real magical part of this that comes up at the end that really helps us, which I'll explain. Okay, so we've got our sigil, we've written it down with the whatever words. There's other ways you can do it if you don't want to use a word or a sentence. If you want to go to number 6 for us, number 6 says, this can also be done with pictures, numbers, symbols, whatever resonates. And I have some examples on our slide that just have different things. So let's just say you're sitting there literally doodling. And as you're doodling, you're thinking about it. You don't have to have anything on there but what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Whatever works for you. You could just be writing I am abundant. You could just be writing 11 11 7 7 7. You could just whatever it is that you're trying to get to, just use whatever physical expression feels correct.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all about your own power supercharging it. And so it doesn't matter that it doesn't make sense to anybody else. It should actually only make sense to you, in fact.
Yeah, that's the point. It should really only make sense to you. So wherever you're putting this, however it's coming out of you, the part about putting it on paper, it's literally grounding the energy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Our manifestations start in imagination. Okay, imagination is actually where they begin. This is Neville Goddard. He talks about how we can't actually have our manifestations until we're able to imagine it. So the imagination is where our manifestations live, and we're trying to bring those imaginations, bring the vibrational thing that we're trying to bring in. Okay, it's in a vibrational state, and we're trying to ground it onto earth, bring it into earth. So this is kind of the same thing when we were talking about journaling being a way to sort of get to yourself, get to your shadow, talk to yourself. This is kind of the same thing where putting something down on paper and creating some type of symbol is just going to help it express into your reality, into your earthly reality. So whatever you ended up with, whether it could be just writing the sentences over and over, or just creating a beautiful picture, or just doodling, you can see the different examples. Again, check out our Instagram post for different examples, but it's whatever's inside of you.
Yeah.
Whatever inside of you. You don't have to be an amazing artist to do this. You absolutely don't. It's just whatever comes out is what comes out.
I
And
just
you'll know.
want to I just want to say how much this is already, just our conversation right here has changed like the purpose of things when I doodle now. You know, just realizing that anything can be a sigil if I allow it to be. You know, what am I thinking of? And isn't that I mean, with journaling, with doodling, there's always something on my mind, right, as I'm doing it. And so that whatever it is that is on your mind is literally supercharging this in the physical realm. And so
That's
just
right.
what a beautiful practice that you can do anytime, anywhere with just your own thoughts.
Yeah, energy loves attention,
Yeah.
and what you focus on expands. So that's it. If you're putting attention into this and you're noticing it, and you're noticing the feelings that you're getting in as you're doing it, the feelings that you're experiencing start to expand, that's where the magic begins, definitely.
And you know what it's making me think of too is moments you know, everybody knows how powerful it is to adorn yourself. You know, how different you feel when you dress yourself up for a special occasion, for no occasion at all. And this is almost just like that. You know, it's like I'm adorning this manifestation with a beautiful symbol or with some beautiful type of creative flow. And that right there is just it's so beautiful. It's exactly what you said, that energy loves attention, and this is just like a gift to the energy that you are trying to call into your life. And I love this.
Yeah. In the last sigil I made, I actually went and purchased special paper. I got a really beautiful pen because I wanted it to be super intentional. I
Yeah.
want it to be an energy exchange where I was actually putting something into it
Mm.
so that I could get that back out. And that's the other part of this, is that it's an energy exchange we're going to kind of have here. Okay, so we've got our symbol, whatever, however we created it. Now we have it. So now what do we do with this thing? So now what we're going to do is we're going to charge it. Okay, and there's a lot of different ways to charge your sigil. Okay, so I have some examples. We can put it on your altar. If you have an altar or a sacred space that you use to meditate or sit or pray, you can put it right there, because this is maybe the spot you're sitting, thinking, meditating, and you're going there with your mind anyway. So put it there on your altar or your spiritual space. You can anoint it with some full moon water or holy water, or any type of like oil, or some type of something that you use basically to consecrate things, to make something special. If it's an oil that you put on your altar, stuff like that, anoint it. Just make a special ceremony out of taking the sigil and putting whatever water or oil or whatever on it, just to give it some extra power.
Yeah, I mean, this could also just be like your favorite perfume if you're someone who's
Oh
like,
yes.
"Oh, I don't know what to anoint it with." It doesn't have to be something specific. If you have something specific, wonderful, use it. But also just get creative. It just wants exactly energy loves attention. So this is just again just adorning this item.
Yes. And also you can meditate while holding it, and just picture even your hands being a golden light, filling the piece of paper or whatever you put your sigil on with power. And just envision yourself already having that thing as you're holding it and as you're meditating. And you're just like putting the power into it at that time. So that's one way to do it. Another way is to use dance, to use movement, So let's say I just want to hold it and I just want to ecstatically dance. I know one of the ways that I end up worshiping, and I do, is, we do too. We go
Yeah.
out and we dance to the moon. We dance in the moonlight. We literally have the sigil on your body somewhere, go dance, just get a bunch of joy into it. Just put a bunch of movement into it. It could be sound. Maybe we're using some sound. Maybe you have like the healing like crystal like bowls, or like some bells, or some type of music that you really want to use to infuse it with. It really depends. Maybe the thing you're trying to manifest is a thing of joy. Maybe you want more joyful experiences. This is where you want to put some joy into it. You know what I mean? This is where you want to get some energy into it, sing into it. You know what I'm saying? Talk to it, say it. All of those things, put a bunch of joy on it. Another thing you do is like put a crystal on it, right?
Mhm.
So we've talked before about the type of crystal you might want to use, maybe correspondent to the chakra kind of involved, right?
Yeah.
The color of chakra being, hey, this is what I'm trying to manifest, whether it's a root issue, meaning I want some stability and safety in my life, right? I
Yeah.
have root issue, so I'm going to use some darker crystals. I'm going to use some black. I'm going to use some jaspers. I'm going to put that on there. I'm going to help ground it.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm looking for, I want to open my third eye. That's what I'm trying to manifest. So I'm going to grab something that corresponds with that. I'm going to grab some amethyst or something,
Yeah.
and I'm going to put it on top of that, and I'm going to let that infuse, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Any other way you really can, this is not an exhaustive list, of course. Any
Right.
other way you can put intention and power into it, that's how you're going to charge it.
Oh, I love this so much. I am like, this conversation is breaking me wide open. And listeners, this is my first time even hearing this from her. And so I am right there with you if you're like, wow, because wow. All right, on to the next.
Okay, so now this is actually where the magical part happens. Now we've charged it, we've got it, we know what it is. Now we're going to activate it, and we're going to remove it from our physical reality, and we're going to send it to our subconscious. Okay. And so this is where we're either going to burn it, rip it, bury it, hide it, erase it. Maybe you can do it in pencil and then erase the whole thing, blow on it, somehow um, activate that energy by removing it, or sort of like deconstructing it within your reality. Because I say again, I want to send this thing to my subconscious. I don't want to actually think about this thing anymore. This really goes on that principle of set it and forget it. And we've heard
Yes.
this over and over. How do I get a manifestation that I want? I'm supposed to think about it, I'm supposed to visualize it, but then I'm supposed to forget about it. Like, how is that working? This is such a beautiful way to set it and forget it. So, and make a ceremony out of this thing when you do it, when you burn it, when you rip it up, when you bury it, when you hide it, whatever it is, be ceremonial, be intentional about it. Ask universe to bring this thing into my subconscious now. Here it goes. As I light this thing, of course, be safe. As I light it and it goes up in flames, I'm going to ask the universe, as this sigil goes up in flames, may it burn itself into my subconscious. As I bury this in my garden, may it be buried deep in my subconscious. Do you know what I'm saying? So
Yes, I love
whatever
it.
you're using, as I blow on this sigil, may it blow away into my reality, out of my reality, into my subconscious, right? Because that's really what it is. The idea being, if we can get it buried in our subconscious is the one that works real hard at that point to
Yeah.
bring this back up into our reality. That's really what it is. We want to put it into our subconscious. Our subconscious has it working in the background, and all of the cooperative components to what we want to manifest are gathering together as we do this magical process. And then we activate it, we let it go. We let it go. And that's where it goes. Okay. That makes sense? Any questions about that part?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want you to go a little bit more into detail about why we're sending this to the subconscious. What is the subconscious,
Okay.
and like why are we sending it there?
Okay, good question. Okay. So when we really go deep into how the law of attraction works, what we know is that what we vibrate it at is what we get. It's
Mm-hmm.
not what we want. We attract what we are.
Yes.
Okay. We attract what we are. So when we have something that we're trying to manifest, and Lisa, we're scripting, we're looking at it, we're saying it over, maybe we're doing a lot of affirmations. It's real present in our mind. And the things that actually mess up our manifestation is our mind. Our mind gets in the way. Our mind tells us all of the reasons why this isn't working. Our mind notices it's not here. Our mind tells us a lot of times why we can't have it. Our mind says this is taking too long. Our mind says, oh, this is probably not going to turn out for me the way I want it or at all. So our mind actually gets in the way, and our mind starts to send out a bunch of doubt, a whole bunch of reverse kind of energy, and we start to block ourselves. So why we want to get it out of our mind and into our subconscious is because then our mind will no longer block it. And our subconscious now will start to manifest, because our subconscious is where we manifest everything anyway. It honestly is. It's the place in which, this is why we talk about do shadow work and talk to your subconscious, because it's the place in which your true motivations lie. It's where they truly lie, right? And what you're trying to get to and where you're trying to go and who you are is deep in your subconscious. So we want to be able to take this sigil, burn it into our subconscious, and let the subconscious worry about it. And then we don't have to anymore. And then we just trust and surrender. That's really the next step, right? Is the trust and surrender. So go to the next, go to number 9. So that number 8 is activate. Number 9, forget about it. Let the universe work out the details. You don't have to worry about that anymore. You've already put your order in, okay? And the universe already knows how to go about getting this thing way better than you do, possibly. So hence, maybe you don't want to totally destroy it. Maybe you just want to hide it away and just, that it's there pulling in the power. So maybe I'm going to stick it behind my phone case. Maybe I'm going to stitch it into my clothing. Maybe I'm going to carve this into a candle. I'm going to burn the candle. Hey, maybe I'm going to write it underneath my paint or my wallpaper. I actually did that when we were renovating our house. I actually wrote some stuff under and painted over it. Maybe I'm going to plant it in my garden, stuff like that. I want to have it where it's literally like here, but I can't see it anymore. And I don't need to see it anymore, because I'm just going to utterly trust and surrender that the universe has this part.
Yeah. So it's almost like, burning it into flames is like, wow, that's really trusting and surrendering. It's like I don't even have access to this physical thing anymore, which that's the beautiful part about the subconscious, is because you don't have access to the subconscious, right? But it is working so much on creating your reality. So whatever you decide, however you decide to activate, right, the sigil is up to you. But I think I might be burning this.
Right? So, there's just a lot of different ways to do it. However you decide to activate it, and then forget about it, and then let it go, and then let it go. And that's really, again, a big part of it is step 10, which is to let universe work out, keep it to yourself. And that's where I was saying to you earlier about, I want you to create this sigil right here and now, but I don't want you to show it to us.
Yeah.
Part of why, and this isn't, you're not going to show people, you're not going to tell people, you're going to keep this to yourself. And it's because you're not going to let anything disrupt the vibration on this thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you tell somebody and you say it to somebody else, it's quite possible that they could throw in some doubt train on you. They could throw in something on you that's going to be like, you're not getting this.
Yep.
And that's really what it is. So I want to keep it to myself. So I'm not going to say that I'm doing this. I'm the only one that even knows about this sigil. Not going to talk about it. I just have it just quietly wherever it is, or I burned it and I've let it go. And then I'm going to let go of the outcome. And I get that sounds slightly contradictory, because I'm trying to get an outcome. But what I mean by that is just, you're going to utterly let go. You've told universe, this is what I want. Universe already knows, and it already knows the best way to give it to you. Yep. So I want you to let go of the outcome and let it be what the universe produces. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Let it go at that point.
I love this so much. I have so many thoughts. One thing I'm thinking about is, all the energy, all that mind energy that we put um towards some things that we're going to manifest, right? You can, like you were saying, your mind can kind of spin out about the things that you're trying to manifest. And this is just such a beautiful practice of like putting all this intentional energy, whether it be charging it with the crystal, using certain colors, um, buying something special to adorn. Like it's like a supercharge of energy towards this one thing, and then you release it, and it's more energy than if you have just been spinning out about it for 3 days. Like what a
Yeah.
sacred practice this is to just hold the energy, the frequency that you are trying to receive without it being um kind of superficial, right? And allowing your mind to bring up all this doubt. And the most important part about almost anything is the trust and surrender. And so this is what a beautiful way to just practice that in general.
Yeah, just what a gorgeous way to really just, first of all, get yourself clear. Second of all, ground the energy. Third of all, put it there, let it go, let the universe handle it, and go about your life
Yes.
and just live life. That's it. And it's like, we want certain things when we think about why do we even manifest. And it's like we're just all trying to get to a place um, of basically the feeling of what we're trying to manifest.
Yep.
Not so much the thing. What we want is the feeling
Yeah.
that we think we're going to have when we have the thing.
Yep.
Right. So that's part of why we got to let go of outcome, because we're really going for the feeling. And
Yeah.
I might have pictured a certain way, and I'm going to picture that, and I'm going to feel the feelings, and I'm going to feel that way. But if I go ahead and just let universe work it out, it might be so much better and more magical and more powerful than I could have even thought of. So that's why I just want to surrender and just let universe just allow. I just want to allow. And I just want to let universe deliver.
Dear
And I'm
universe.
in a receiving mode. And
Yeah.
how to be in that receiving mode is literally just to say, hey, I don't care, universe, how you go about giving this. And actually, if there's something I want and I'm real focused on it and I put a bunch of energy into it, and I think I've done everything I can, all I can really do is let go and let universe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's all I can do, because otherwise what am I doing is just like either, having worry or anxiety about it. And that's just sending a bunch of negative energy toward it. And then I'm just getting into a lack mentality.
And
And
otherwise, yep.
if I
Otherwise,
lack, all I'm vibrating out is the lack of that thing. And then all it gives me is more of the lack.
And otherwise, all you can do is sit in the vibration of what it is that you're asking for, which do that as much as you can. I mean, the more that you feel the thing, the better it is. So it's like feel the feeling of what it is and just let it go. Yeah, let the outcome go. Dear universe, please show me how good it can really get.
Yes. How good can I get it? How good can we get it? That's the best part of this. I love this so much. This is kind of one of those things where it's just a tool in the mind.
Yes.
And if you don't believe in magic, let's say you probably didn't make it this far into this video, but if you don't believe in any of this, that's fine. Again, maybe this isn't for you, but if you do believe and you do know that energy is real and energy is everything and all of the things we said, try this out. We would love to hear about your results. If you can manifest anything, big or small, we'd love to know about it. We've got our sigils going over here. I know I just did a few. We just know, they made one. I just really, I challenge you to try this out and see how it feels. We'd love to hear a little feedback. Send us a message on Instagram or put a comment in the below and tell us how this went.
I'm just in my mind, I'm envisioning this feedback loop, right? So you put the energy into the sigil and then you activate it, you adorn it, you do all these things, and then you burn it and you put it right back into it's like releasing energy power and supercharging it and putting it right back into yourself. That how
Yeah,
beautiful is that image?
so
Thank you
beautiful.
so much
So
for sharing this practice with us. This is definitely something that I am going to be um, doing more than just tonight, more than what I just created. And so thank you so, so, so much. If you're interested in seeing the slideshow and if you're listening to this, you can find it on our Instagram. We will be posting it. And otherwise, get to making sigils, people. Let's manifest our ultimate realities. You can do this. Everything you need is already inside of you, and you are a
yes.
creative being full of light. And I'm so happy to have shared this time with you.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for spending your time and energy with us. We're so grateful to have you with us. We would love to have a like or a subscribe if you haven't so far. But again, dear listener, dear one, you have the power to create your universe. So create with joy and love.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will see you next week.
See you next week.